What's up, metal and heavy music fans? Today we're talking about the new RAMMSTEIN track, Zick Zack.
Tick-Tack, Tick-Tack, schneid es ab.
So we open on an elderly crowd watching basically what seems to be like a glam rock band that's clearly past its prime. Like, these guys are looking pretty old, you know, and RAMMSTEIN, and we'll get into this, are already kind of getting up there in years, but they particularly added on to that effect with lots of prosthetics and just goofy makeup and things like that to really drive this point home that we're going to get into thematically. But it looks like just a bunch of old people in like a casino like venue area just like waiting to die is sort of what it comes down to. So musically though, when it kicks off in the intro, we've got them actually saying the line that they've been teasing over the weekend with lots of pictures of each of the band members in their makeup, and it's schöner, größer, harter, straffer, glatter, stärker, which basically translates to like prettier, bigger, harder, tighter, smoother, stronger. At this point we get one of their classic industrial chugs that definitely calls back to their early days, kind of like a very go-to guitar riff for them, but also with a fun little synth hook to cap it off each time.
Deine Brüste sind zu klein, 2 Pfund Silikon sind fein.
At this point in the video, they're making themselves and the showgirls kind of look as good as possible. They're all doing their makeup and their hairspray. Some of them are putting on like wigs and stuff like that. They literally have like a plastic surgeon backstage like marking the showgirls with like the little marker they use for plastic surgery to kind of figure out where they're going to cut. Clearly all of them just sort of like trying to hide their age, hold on to their youth. My personal favorite touch is when the guitarist puts on the fake six-pack. And then we get the sing-along titular pre-chorus, which by the way, Zick Zack translates basically to zigzag, but combined with the little cutting motion they do, I think they're particularly referencing again like plastic surgery, cutting into the skin, making yourself beautiful again. And then they rhyme that the second time with tick-tock, du wirst alt, which you get the tick-tock part, right? It's the ticking clock. Pretty obvious, pretty like in your face at this point where we're getting to. And then du wirst alt translates to you're getting old. So yeah, you're probably getting the idea at this point. I promise we're going to get more into that in just a second, but just to kind of like cap off musically what goes on here, we explode into this very melodic, kind of grandiose chorus. Simple, but effective. And the English translation to the words here is, whoever wants to be beautiful must also suffer. Cut out and cut away and cut off, needle, thread, scissors, light, but it doesn't work without the pain. I also love that they toss in this very like glammy synth line on the chorus, which actually kind of reminds me of something I'd hear on like a The Killers song. And then this is where the video starts to get like really goofy too, where Till's face is literally like basically melting. He has to go backstage. He looks in the mirror, his like jowls are hanging off. He goes to the surgeon, but like none of the needles and like gross chemicals they have are really doing anything. So he ends up just grabbing a staple gun and just like stapling his face back together. So again, clearly more commentary on aging going on here, specifically trying to hold it back with plastic surgery. I did get quite a chuckle when he comes back out on stage and his face is literally just like wrapped up with tape. But throughout I was watching and I was really thinking about the album title and the previous music video, Zeit, which translates again to time. And so it's making me wonder now, we've got two singles that very much have to do with time passing, not being able to fight it off. More so in the previous song about dying, but in this one just like the aging process. And so I'm wondering if this is going to be like a theme of the entire album again, since time is literally the title of the entire record, which seems appropriate given that Till is actually turning 60.
I'm too old for this shit.
Definitely a fair topic for a band at this point in their career, and if anyone could kind of tackle it, I think RAMMSTEIN is going to do a good job of kind of like bringing some humor and levity to it, but also tackling the more serious stuff again with Zeit. So previously we got this like super serious take on it, and now we've got this more kind of like silly, their goofier track. It reminds me more of Pussy or America, where it's just like more straightforward, more just for laughs. But that brings me to my thoughts on the music overall for this particular track. And honestly, when it ended, and it ends rather abruptly, I was kind of like, oh, that was it? Like, I'm going to be honest, I'm pretty underwhelmed with this one, and the sillier tracks tend to be a little bit more hit and miss with me. Like, I know America is like a big single, and it does make me chuckle, but it's not really a song that I regularly go back to compared to some of their better moments in their discography. Very simplistic structure, just verse, chorus, verse, not a ton of substance to it, compared to something, say, like Sona or Deutschland. When it comes to Rammstein, I like a little bit more meat on the bone, and this didn't quite give me that. I'm wanting a bit more. It made me chuckle. The music video's fun. I'm sure people are going to enjoy it, but it's a little bit lacking for them. Definitely wouldn't make my Rammstein playlist overall. Wouldn't even come close to like my top even 25, maybe even 50 tracks from them. It's definitely catchy, but not as memorable, really. Like, at least America, I feel like that song is memorable. It kind of gets stuck in my head. This one doesn't even necessarily have that quality, I would say. Maybe you feel differently. You can let me know that down in the comments. But in terms of my grade for this song, based on the couple listens I've had right now, in terms of enjoyability, again, just the music-wise, it's kind of just like a 7. Again, kind of catchy, kind of fun, but doesn't really stick with you, doesn't really offer a whole lot for me to really chew on. So just pretty, like, average, not bad, but not particularly good either. In terms of musicianship, I'd say about the same, like 7. I know that Rammstein is capable of so much more than this, and that's not necessarily what this song is shooting for, but given that this was also kind of a criticism I had of Zeit, which I like quite a bit more, and I think it's beautiful, but that song also is a little bit simplistic, so it has me a little bit worried that this album might be a little bit too stripped back, but we've only got 2 songs, so there might be a lot more that we don't know yet. Again, verse, chorus, verse, very basic riff that we've heard before. The little synth lines are fun, but they're not, like, particularly special. And then in terms of innovation, I think it's 7s across the board here, really. Like, it's nothing really new for them. They're not really throwing me any curveballs, which is something I always appreciate when Rammstein is able to do that. Like, I remember when Deutschland dropped, I was like, wow, these guys still got it. Not so much here. This is a very kind of like middle of the road kind of track for them. So yeah, 7 overall, and I hate to say it, it's kind of a C-, really. Like, it's even on the lower end of their more average songs. But be sure to check out my video with the breakdown on Zeit if you haven't watched that already, and then you can also check out my Rammstein album tier list where I rank them all, and I'm planning on updating that again when Zeit drops. But that'll do it for now. Flight of Icarus signing off. I will see you in the trenches.